Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the science, the history, and the exact environmental needs behind growing the absolute ultimate summer fruit. If you've ever wondered exactly what it takes to cultivate a perfect watermelon, well, you're in the right place. Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with their desert origins, move on to identifying the vines, cover the essentials for healthy growth, talk about defeating disease with trellises, and finally, master the art of the harvest. But before we get to the sweet stuff, we've got a bit of an agricultural mystery on our hands. Could you honestly tell the difference between a pumpkin vine and a watermelon vine? Or did you know that watermelons are actually related to toxic desert gourds? Yeah, the botanical reality of this plant is way more intense than you might think. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Desert Origins and Relatives, and how the Kalahari shaped the modern melon. To really understand why watermelons demand what they do today, we have to look back. And this fruit has had an incredible global journey. We're talking 5,000 years ago in the Kalahari Desert of southern Africa. Back then, this tough, wild ancestor was actually used by traveling tribes just to store water. From there, it shows up in Egyptian hieroglyphics in the 2nd millennium BC, expands into China and Europe by the 10th century, and finally hits the Americas in the 16th century. Now, surviving those ancient, hyper-dry conditions took some serious grit, and that led to some incredibly bizarre wild relatives. Take the bitter apple. It's a highly toxic, bitter desert vine with deep tap roots that is completely unsafe to eat. Or, get this, there's a relative that literally pushes its fertilized flowers 30 centimeters underground. It grows in total darkness and relies entirely on nocturnal aardvarks to dig it up, eat it, and spread the seeds. Yes, literally aardvarks. Those extreme survival skills are baked right into the plant's DNA. Moving right along to Section 2, identifying your watermelon vines. Let's spot the difference in the dirt. Stepping out of the wild and into your backyard garden. Early plant growth can be a total guessing game, right? Especially if you mix up your seed packets. The trick here is to watch the directional growth and the leaf shape. Watermelon vines grow outwards, spreading flat along the ground, and their leaves have this irregular oak-like shape without any pointy tips. Pumpkins, on the other hand, grow straight upwards, looking more like a bush, and have spade-shaped or large maple-like leaves with smoother edges. And if you find out you are indeed growing a watermelon, you better make some space. That vine is going to absolutely explode in size, spreading a massive 6 to 8 feet in just 30 days. That kind of rapid outward growth takes a huge amount of energy. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, Essentials for Healthy Growth, focusing on the Big 5 requirements. Because of those African desert origins we talked about, modern watermelons are super demanding. They absolutely need high heat, well-drained sandy soil, plenty of sunshine, and carefully managed water to thrive. But there's one more critical piece of the puzzle: the bees. You just cannot skip the pollinators. Farmers will strategically drop bee colonies into the fields the exact moment male flowers start appearing. And here's the crazy part. Even if you're growing sterile, seedless watermelons, you still absolutely need those bees to pollinate the large yellow female flowers for the plant to actually produce the fruit itself. Literally, no bees, no summer treats. Once those bees do their thing and that tiny fruit appears on the vine, the clock starts ticking. You are on a strict countdown of 60 to 90 days until maturity to pack all that water, weight, and sugar into the fruit. Next up, Section 4, Defeating Disease with Trellises. Let's look at some vertical solutions for healthy plants. A lot can go wrong in those 90 days. Because these vines naturally grow flat and spread so fast, they easily trap moisture underneath their dense canopy. This makes them a prime target for powdery mildew. It's a really nasty leaf fungus caused by overnight moisture that just sits there, eventually stealing the plant's energy and severely damaging your yield. So, here's a brilliant hack. Elevate your vines onto a trellis. Not only does this save you major square footage in the garden, you can even use it as shade for chickens or other plants underneath, but it drastically increases leaf airflow. This totally eliminates that surface moisture from rain or ground watering, which guarantees dry leaves and completely prevents that powdery mildew from taking hold. And finally, Section 5, the art of the harvest, knowing exactly when to pick. When that 3-month mark hits, you have to be spot on. See, unlike bananas, watermelons refuse to ripen or get any sweeter after they leave the vine. Once you cut it, that's it. So before you grab your knife, check 3 non-negotiable signs. First, flip it over. You want a pale, buttery yellow belly where it sat on the ground. Second, lift it up. It should feel surprisingly heavy for its size. And third, inspect it to make sure it's free of any deep bruises or cuts. Once it's cut, the logistics are intense. Out in the field, a pitching crew literally follows the cutters, swiftly tossing these heavy melons hand to hand in a chain to load them onto trucks. And they always load them on their sides. Why? Because the rind is actually much thinner at the top and bottom of the fruit, so laying them sideways protects them from cracking under all that pressure. From there, they hit the packing shed, get washed, graded, and then are hand-loaded into these massive 700-pound shipping bins. That is enough to hold anywhere from 36 to 60 watermelons per bin, all ready to be distributed to grocery stores worldwide. So the next time you take a bite of a refreshing slice on a hot summer day, take a second to think about the insane journey it took to get there. From surviving the brutal, dry sands of the Kalahari Desert to the precise agricultural science of soil, sun, and bees sitting right there on your plate. It really makes you wonder, will you ever look at a slice of watermelon the exact same way again? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking questions about the world around you.